What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome over to the DFS 5-Pack. We are here to talk NBA preseason basketball. Now, before we get into the things that we have, I want to tell everybody this is not a slate that I feel super comfortable with. And this isn't something I'm putting major money down. I hate the preseason stuff from the aspect that it is a little bit unreliable trying to predict the first game of the year, where people are going and what we're going to have. But we took some time today. We want to at least figure out a few things. I know a bunch of you guys are probably itching to play. So we'll at least share a few of our opinions on, hopefully it'll help. But I'm not sitting here and telling you this is the thing that I feel most confident in with the first game of the NBA preseason.
I'm laughing as you're saying that. Yeah, if you didn't tell me about this slate yesterday and I saw a couple tweets about it, I never would have known that there was an NBA slate. I mean, this is far from a real slate. I'll just say it, leave it at that.
Yeah, it's a one-game showdown slate. It's nice that basketball is here. It's this weird crossover period between baseball still going, football's in full throttle now, and we're getting the start of NBA basketball as far as the preseason goes. So it's a great time for sports fans, for all you college football fans, and it's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's back, but not one that I'm really, really feeling great about. So again, proceed with caution. It's tough to know what's what. We hesitated even putting this video out because there's a lack of prep time trying to figure out what's going on in the first game of NBA when you got NFL and MLB going. But let's have some fun. Let's talk a little bit about basketball. We love NBA DFS, so I'm pumped for the regular season. I just don't want to give confusion that I have perfect insight going into the first preseason game of the year.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, we love NBA DFS. So this is just kind of a sneak preview, a taste. The strip club analogy works here, if you will, and that it's not exactly what we want, but it gives us a little tease. I mean, listen, someone's going to win some money tonight playing it.
Yeah, why not you guys, right? I probably won't even have time to play because I'll probably focus on baseball because that's been going well the last couple of days. But somebody's going to win some money, so why not one of y'all?
Yeah.
All right, let's start with what we know. Hornets starters per head coach James Borrego. How do you pronounce it? Do you know?
I think Borrego.
Borrego? Okay. Verified per the Charlotte Hornets Twitter page. Going to be Kemba, Nick Batum, Jeremy Lin, Marvelous, Marvin Williams, and Cody Zeller. Dwight Howard's gone. This opened up some minutes at the center position. Cody Zeller is a guy that is a better real-life player than DFS player to me, but he is a solid player all the way around who should get more minutes this year now that D12 has moved on to bigger and brighter things in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't watch too much preseason NBA. So how much does it matter that they're the starters?
That's the part that's really difficult for everybody to know. I believe you said that you found out that the Hornets or the Celtics starters are all staying at 20 minutes or under.
Everyone on the Celtics. No one's going to play over 20 minutes.
Okay. So that should tell you right there. And the Celtics are a really, really deep team, which means that they have a lot of really good players. Tough to know. Who's going to get hot from three-pointer tonight? Brown, Tatum, one of the backups, Rozier. Hard to say for sure.
I mean, I preach this in, regular slates to be different sometimes, but I've probably never seen a slate where it holds more, truth than leaving money on the table here.
It could easily be the case to leave money on the table here. They could come in and bring all the backups in tonight, and they could be the guys that outscore the head guys. So it's probably, if you're playing cash games, which I prefer in Showdown, I still want to stick with the better players, right? I still would rather roster a Jason Tatum than a virtual unknown off the bench. He's just a much better basketball player. That doesn't mean the bench guys won't come in and just put up way more points with a lack of defense.
Yeah, this is weird.
All right. Next up. So what you're finding out, and we posted these questions throughout some of the Facebook groups and wanted to see what people were saying. What you're hearing is that Semi Ojeleye is going to be pretty chalky as the cheap guy for Boston tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've come across his name a few times. So chalky, I don't know. I think he'll get some love. He's only 2.2K. I mean, again, I think he's part of that depth that you just talked about with Boston. And I mean, he's getting a lot of love this summer, so I get it there.
Okay, he's super cheap. He's very, very low risk. Playing him allows you to play basically all good players outside of that. They do have a spot for him on the Celtics team, even though, he's never going to be part of their top rotation because there's so much talent on this Boston team, unless they get super injured like they did last year. But he is really, really inexpensive. They want to figure out a little bit better what they got with this guy. Sounds like he's going to be relatively popular. Again, very, very low risk type of play. And nobody from Boston's going to play major minutes, but he could be right up there as one of the minutes leaders.
You got to think so. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity. they know what they have with their top guys. Like, I feel like guys like this, these are the guys to really target in games like this personally.
Yeah, there could be. I mean, it wouldn't shock to see him outscore DFS point wise some of the really, really good guys in Boston. And there's a buttload of them.
Like, definitely. I actually think that will happen because I think he'll play a lot because they're not going to play their starters a lot. I just can't imagine a scenario where they play their starters or their group of 7 guys or whatever it is, like a lot of minutes. I can't see it.
Right. Boston this year for DFS purposes is going to be a lot like Golden State from last year, or the last couple years where, yeah, they're going to score points every single night, but there's so many damn good players on this team that who's it going to be that night? It's going to be Brown on Tuesday and then Tatum on Wednesday, Hayward on Friday, Kyrie on Sunday. It's just a really good basketball team from top to bottom.
The only difference I'll say with them and Golden State, it is similar. The only difference I'll say is they're more defensive oriented. So Golden State, it is hard to pick one guy, but when one or two are out, the other guy is amazing. Boston, the only guy really like that is Kyrie, and he's almost overrated from a fantasy sense.
Definitely. All right. So one of the guys that is kind of a deeper sleeper that we found by talking to a few people is going to be Brad Wanamaker. Looking to see how versatile his D is. And for both him and Semi Ojeleye, one of the big factors tonight is Marcus Smart is out for personal reasons, which is going to open up a few minutes on the wing spots that maybe wouldn't have been there otherwise. Again, I don't look at it as a major factor because they're going to spread out who plays where. This is a good opportunity. They want to see how versatile his D is and how effectively they can run him within the pick and roll. What to expect out of him tonight, I don't think anybody really, really knows. But if you're looking for a deeper sleeper that could see some extended run tonight and is not a name familiar to the majority of the NBA DFS public as of right now, this is a guy that is getting talked about is possibly getting a little extra run tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you said it really nice there because we don't know too much about him. He's never played an NBA game before. It just seems like another guy that they probably want to see what they have. Good opportunity for him to play. Probably play against a lot of the Charlotte bench guys. Like you said, D might be lacking a little bit. I mean, he's 2K. Price doesn't even matter, I feel like, on this slate, but I think he's going to see a nice role here. Listen, I really don't know. I had barely heard of him before we started researching the slate, to be honest. So for me to sit here and really talk this guy up would be just a lie.
Yep. In Barcelona, he operated a lot as a primary ball handler, but he can play off the ball too. So Stevens, wants to figure out, what do I have here? Is he a guy that I even want to be on my extended bench? Because to go back and over and over and over again, the Boston Celtics team is deep. I mean, this kind of reminds me of how my Milwaukee Brewers are right now for baseball. Outside of Christian Yelich, you don't have a lot of it's not the great players, but it's just deep all the way to the bottom. And there's a lot of guys with, pretty similar skill sets. So you want to figure out who are going to be your 10th, 11th, and 12th guys.
According to Tristan Thompson, the Cavs are still the favorites in the East.
Well, he's probably drinking some of JR's Hennessy right now, and it's not. It's kind of corrupted his mind a little bit. So
I will say the one thing I want to say about Wanamaker, which I like here, is anyone who's not watching this or that's doing no research for this slate that just wants to put in a lineup, they will not be playing Wanamaker because they won't know about Wanamaker.
Right. That's kind of what we had, briefly brought up. He's just an unknown to most people.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So one guy I kind of like tonight is just Gordon Hayward. You're going to be able to pay up for a variety of good players. And for me, this is all about the intangibles. Most of us were probably watching opening night last year when just over 5 minutes into the game, we saw what was just an excruciating injury. This is one that I want to say the announcer. Right? That's just, your body is not supposed to be able to do that. And I think it was 2 seconds after it happened when the announcer goes, oh no, Gordon Hayward broke his ankle. And you can see by the picture, this was horrible. You felt bad for the young man. Seems like a good dude that was in a good spot for a good team. For me, this is all about the intangibles. The guy's finally getting back on the basketball court. He was dunking off of his left leg all over the place. It seems like he's just fine now. I mean, it's been almost a full calendar year. I want to see how he plays tonight, how he mixes in with the team. But for me, it just seems like a really, really good intangible spot for, it's a feel-good story. You want to get this guy back on the court. That was an awful injury he went through last year, and it seems like he's all the way back, at least as far as health is concerned.
I guess my biggest thing with Hayward is I could see him playing 5 minutes and that being it.
It's possible. Definitely possible. Again, I can see that with everybody. I can see Kyrie only playing 5 or 6 minutes. I don't really know.
Kyrie and Hayward are the two guys I feel worst about there. Probably Kyrie, Horford, and Hayward, if you want to talk about the big three. there's just no reason to play those guys more at all. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know because I don't have much experience watching these games, playing these slates. So it's difficult. It's fun to dabble, but that's it.
I'm saying for me, and again, I know darn right I could be dead wrong on this. I think that because of the story that goes along with it, I like the intangible idea of letting this guy kind of get his feet under him. He's been through a long time since he's been able to get on a court and competitively play against other NBA players. You got to think like he's got to just be itching and ready to go out there. And his teammates probably want to feed him a little bit too, because they know what he went through last year. And just as a human being, that had to be a really awful just year of his life to go through all this.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, if this were the first game of the regular season, I kind of agree with you. I think we'll circle that back on this. I mean, you might be right. I could be wrong. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, it's tough with preseason. Again, that's why I'm not going into this game with a lot of conviction. And if I play, it's going to be for a couple of dollars, and I'll spend my money on MLB. And save it for Sunday. All right, so one guy I do like a lot tonight, though, is going to be Hernangomez. So Zeller is the starter tonight. But from doing a little reading on this one, it sounds like with Dwight Howard gone, that Hernangomez is going to get the opportunity to compete with Zeller for the starting job. And while Zeller is going to come in and start, and Hernangomez is actually more expensive, most of you NBA DFS players out there that are pretty avid, remember this guy is a point-per-minute monster, like to the likes of like a Boban Marjanovic, where when he's on the court, he racks up rebounds, blocks shots, putbacks over and over and over again. So he's a guy I have a ton of interest in tonight. I can't firmly say he's going to get a ton of minutes, but I do feel pretty confident this is a guy that they want to test out, figure out where do you want to go and give your primary minutes to throughout the regular season. He's just a significantly better DFS player than Cody Zeller because of what he does. I'm not saying he's a better real-life player, but he's a better DFS player. And with no Dwight Howard around anymore, this opens up time for Willie, Zeller, and Frank.
Yeah, when I asked you before, why people are getting excited about this slate, I didn't understand it. I firmly get it now because I'm getting excited about the NBA talking about this.
Right?
I really am. So, I mean, yeah, we love Hernangomez. He's like a 5-pack darling. He's like you said, he's a point-per-minute monster. So, to your kind of point at the beginning, and I know you'll agree with this, we don't know what's going to happen here. But all we can go on is what we do know. And we know that he's a points-per-minute beast and will probably play a bunch of minutes here. So, that's all we got.
And you mentioned earlier, the Celtics are an excellent defensive team. Excellent. Best in the business, probably.
Yeah.
But their interior defense isn't quite as strong as their wing defense, which is as good as it comes. It's one of the reasons that people give them the best opportunity to beat a Golden State Warriors team because their perimeter defense is amazing. I'm not saying their post defense is bad. I'm just saying it's not quite up to the elite defense that they provide with all of those excellent wing defenders and Tatum. I know Smart's out tonight, but they are just great at defending the wings. So to score on them, it's often a little bit beneficial to try to get the ball down low a little bit because their perimeter defense is the best in the business.
Yeah, and they don't have a guy like Embiid or whoever down there. I mean, I agree with that point. So regardless, there's no one on Boston also like that Embiid or real big guy that is going to stop him from getting those putbacks here.
Right, like Baines is all right. Like he's a decent defender, and it's one of the reasons that he gets his run. But Al Horford is a very good all-around basketball player, but he's not like an A-plus defender. He's okay. He does what he can, being a slightly undersized center.
Yeah, he's better at like switching. He's like a good defender because he's real good at the fundamental. Yeah, but like he's not like big, and he's not as athletic as Hernangomez. Like that matchup doesn't worry me at all. No,
Al Horford's an excellent basketball player, but he's versatile. He's a guy that can defend the small forward position if needed, but he's not Rudy Gobert. He's not Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
And that about does it. Again, we didn't have, it's the first preseason game of the year. Even the coach probably doesn't have an exact plan for what he wants to do early on. So I would proceed with caution. It's definitely a good opportunity to have some fun and welcome back to the NBA, but let's continue to watch these games and get a better feel for what's out there because the real NBA DFS season is coming real soon.
Definitely. I will say about this slate tonight, and who knows, I could be dead wrong. I could easily see like two random players that we haven't even talked about or heard of, winning the money for everyone, which makes it fun, which makes it like a nice GPP slate. Like if you know this stuff, if you know that, like, I don't know how you know this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And if you got some really good takes, I would love to hear from the viewers on this one because it's possible, like you could be a Celtics fan or a Hornets fan. and maybe you just don't like baseball because there's a lot of you out there. So you haven't been evaluating baseball for 3 hours today, and you haven't been doing football videos all day long and things like that. And maybe you've just done way more research and you're really insightful on this. I would be curious to hell as what your takes are on this one, because we've been trying to evaluate 3 sports today. And if this is something you know a ton about, please feel free to share your information in the comment section. I would love to learn from the peanut gallery on this one, because you might be more knowledgeable than we are.
Yeah, I didn't even realize this was like a 3-sport day. It might be the first time ever, huh?
Yeah, kind of. So cool, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.